Good evening and welcome to Ville News. I'm your host Vanessa Anders alongside Ruby Mundok, here to give you the latest local, state, and national headlines. Coming up in this episode, we have updates on a pneumonia spill in Lancaster and all things state and national budget addresses. Stay tuned because Ville News starts now.
A shelter-in-place issued in Lancaster County has been lifted after an ammonia leak occurred at Kunzler Meat Company on Sunday, March 12th. Officials issued the order around 7:30 a.m. when nearby residents smelled an odor from the ammonia. The shelter-in-place covered a half-mile radius around the meat company's facility. People who lived in the area were asked to keep all windows and doors closed and stay inside until further notice. According to Chief Herskowitz of Hazmat 2 Environmental Rescue, the leak was contained by crews at approximately 11:50 a.m. the same day. In total, the order was in effect for about 7 hours until officials deemed the area safe. Crews have warned citizens that they may still smell residual ammonia, but it is not harmful to the public. It is not yet known what caused the leak, but investigations continue.
Police arrested a former Millersville University student last Friday for threatening to attack a local elementary school. 20-year-old Naomi Wenger of Lancaster was working her first day as a substitute teacher's aide in Martic Elementary School's IU-13 unit when she allegedly called school officials, threatening to shoot up the building. The school, located in Holtwood, was subsequently placed on active lockdown as state police arrived to investigate and evacuate the school. After-school activities and classes were canceled for the following day. Investigators arrested Wenger after phone records uncovered her number calling the school at least 3 times during the time frame the threat was made. Wenger, who is a single mother and graduated from Millersville following the fall 2022 semester with a degree in marketing, was actively involved in campus organizations at the time of her arrest. As of her arraignment Thursday, Wenger faces charges of terroristic threats, criminal use of communication facility, and obstructing administration of law or other government functions.
When we get back, we'll have updates on Governor Shapiro's first budget address and a sexual assault allegation in the House of Representatives. Ville News will be right back. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro has delivered the first budget address of his term, calling on the General Assembly to work together in order to pass a comprehensive plan while advocating for increased funding for state schools and economic initiatives. Speaking to a politically divided legislature in a joint address last Tuesday, Shapiro made clear his desire to pass a fiscal budget centered on the themes described in his gubernatorial campaign, which included improving the economy and employment opportunities, bolstering public safety, and building a stronger public education system in the Commonwealth. Notable highlights of the proposal include raising the state minimum wage to $15 an hour, increasing the income cap for renters and homeowners to $45,000 a year, and allocating $16.4 million for 4 new Pennsylvania State Police Trooper cadet classes in 2023 and 2024, which would train an estimated 384 new state troopers. Arguably, the most notable feature of the governor's budget address was a $567 million in new basic education funding, to which some fellow Democrats and education advocates have criticized as being too small of an investment. Advocacy group Education Voters of PA said Shapiro's funding proposal would allow, quote, districts to barely tread water when they need substantial additional state investments to meet their students' needs, end quote.
Pennsylvania State Representative Mike Zabel has stepped down after allegedly sexually assaulting multiple women. Representative Abby Major claims an intoxicated Zabel put his arm around her and said, quote, let's get out of here, unquote. Service Employees International Union lobbyist Andy Perez accused Zabel of caressing her and continuing to caress her after she moved away from him. Perez went public with the allegations 4 years ago, but did not name Zabel until 2 weeks ago. The Pennsylvania House of Representatives passed new rules that can expand on who can file a sexual assault complaint against lawmakers 2 weeks ago, which allowed Perez to make a formal complaint. Zabel's former campaign manager, Colleen Kennedy, came forward in a blog post that said Zabel acted inappropriately while intoxicated. Zabel submitted his letter of resignation hours after a fellow state lawmaker came forward about an incident that occurred last November.
When we get back, new developments on the Willow project and President Biden's budget address. Ville News will be right back. The Willow oil drilling project in Alaska was approved by the Biden administration, infuriating environmentalists and paving the way for a legal challenge. The region where the project was envisioned possesses up to 600 million barrels of oil, but since the project has not yet been built, it would take years for the oil to reach the market. According to projections made by the administration, the project would produce enough oil to put 2 million more gas-powered automobiles to the road each year. The project has sparked a wave of internet activity against it, with over 1 million emails submitted to the White House in opposition and a Change.org petition with millions of signatures. Environmentalists are expected to sue to stop the project. Earth Justice, an environmental law firm, has been drafting a lawsuit against the project, arguing that the Biden administration's jurisdiction to safeguard resources on Alaska's public lands includes taking efforts to minimize carbon emissions, which the Willow project will eventually contribute to.
In other national news, President Biden laid out his budget plan in a Philadelphia Union Training Center late last week and shared his vision for the year. The plan itself will not be passed, but legislators are expected to start working together to make changes that both parties will agree on. The president focused on investing in manufacturers, climate, education, healthcare, and increased taxes on the wealthy population. Biden and House Speaker McCarthy are expected to sit down to discuss changes, with the president stating, quote, "I'm ready to meet with the speaker anytime, even tomorrow. If he has his budget, lay it down, tell me what you want to do. I'll show you what I want to do," end quote. President Biden is now waiting for the House Republicans to share their budget so discussions can begin.
That's all we have this week for Ville News. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next week for the latest local, state, and national headlines.